Studios, Dave Hughes here, and joining me now in the studio, the Executive Director of the Harrison County Development Commission, Bill Lavers, joins us. Bill, how you doing today?
I'm good.
I'm always, by the way, I just want to make sure you're aware of this, I'm always this cheerful when somebody brings me socks.
You're welcome.
We have Lance is excited. That's the best thing that's happened to him all week already.
Not coffee, socks, right?
Socks, yeah.
Okay.
This is a little tip for your gift giving. Socks. It brings a smile to everybody's face.
Mayor Hughes calls them Hughes socks since they have an H on them, so I don't,
Billy would.
He would.
Yeah, that's kind of how that works. I love him to death. So nothing going on in Harrison County. No. It's very boring, very dry. Nobody's talking about anything at all.
Little hot.
It's a lot hot.
Nothing's caught on fire today yet, so we'll be okay.
Totally apropos of nothing, have you noticed any decline in the people on the beach in this heat?
No.
That I knew that was going to be the answer, and that amazes me.
Yeah.
But there you go. Some people like to sweat, I guess.
Yeah.
When you get down to it.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about what's going on in Harrison County and what you do specifically in your office.
So we're the county economic development agency, and we have 12 commissioners, each appointed by each of the 5 mayors in Harrison County, and then 5 appointed by each of the Board of Supervisors, and then 2 appointed by the governor. So that's part of my team. And then I have 9 other people that work in my office so I can be up here talking to you that get all the work done.
They're actually taking care of the business.
Yeah, I do the talking. They do all the work and the paperwork.
Bill is in sock distribution.
Yes.
That's pretty much his title. But that's an important part of the process, though, seriously.
It is. So, and the little story behind the socks, every year we have an intern, and that's their project. So every year the interns with adult supervision, because I've got to wear the socks too. I'm wearing them today.
Oh, you are.
So, I can't wear purple and pink socks. I could, but it's just, so there's some parameters we put on it. So every year we have a new version of socks done by our high school interns. So that's one of the programs that we do.
That's fantastic. And that's a thrill for the interns, too.
Yeah, it's a little challenging for some of them. And like this pair was done in about 10 minutes by some students. One of them's now at, I think, Howard and, full ride. So we get to cherry pick some of the best kids in the neighborhood, so to speak. But that's one of our programs. It's called the C-Force. So we take high school students and say, what do you want to do when you grow up? And we find that relationship in the community, pay them $10 an hour, $9 now, $10 an hour with inflation, and let them test drive their career. We work a lot with Accelerate Mississippi as well. That's why I'm in Jackson today for that meeting. But we feel like the test drive, and for a lot of these kids, is their first job ever. So they get a paycheck, might be $128 every couple of weeks, but they're very proud of that, and it gives them something on their resume, whether they decide that career or not, to put them a step ahead when they go into the next version of who they want to be.
Yeah, and that's important.
It is.
A lot of people they have a blank resume when they start, so that's a leg up before you even get going good.
Yep.
Little road work going on.
A little bit. We do a lot with MDOT and Kelly Castleberry. Couldn't do a lot without him because he yields a pretty powerful position down in Harrison County, and Brad, the whole gang. So tomorrow we have a commission meeting, and hopefully my commissioners will approve a rail bid for MDOT, where we're going to do about $400,000 worth of work to do a go-around track on our railroad that we've been putting back together piece by piece, and also approve a $1.7 million contract for said railroad to restore about 9 miles of railroad in the industrial park in Harrison County. That's been about a 4-year project. Last year, we moved 78 rail cars all year long. As of yesterday, we'd moved 188, and it's a calendar year, so we still got quite a lot to do. But that's one of those, we're putting $2 million worth of money back into infrastructure to help support all the tenants in our industrial park.
Well, and that's the thing that I think is lost sometimes. Everybody wants business to pick up. Everybody wants more rail cars coming through, more traffic coming through. But that takes infrastructure and enough infrastructure and the proper type of infrastructure to actually handle it in a decent manner. So, upgrades have to happen sometimes.
Well, we have parts of our railroad are over 60 years old, and they're the old school made on oyster shells. So,
wow.
Yeah, that's what we're upgrading. Yeah.
Those are classic. But, you're due, I think.
Yeah, and my rail operator's crazy enough. He's from Hernando, Mississippi with Rock Island Rail, and he's crazy enough. He'll run a railroad on just about anything. So we're trying to get a little better foundation for him than he has currently.
So. Just give him that ground floor and then let him build from there.
Yep.
That makes perfect sense.
So another project we're working on, we were one of 9 cities in the United States to be our friends at the CB base, primarily Ron Jenkins, turned us in for a BRIC grant, which stands for Building Resilience in Communities. And I had to look that up this morning. And
I'm glad you did, because I didn't know what it was either.
And so it's FEMA partnering with cities to study floods and different natural environments to figure out what the best repairs and ways to work with the community are. So when the CBs leave the base, they go up Canal Road, which is not the widest road. And if there's a lot of rain, the ditches get full pretty quick. And if that equipment happens to break, they shut down the road. So we're partnering with the port, MDOT, back to Kelly, and GRPC and a lot of the other, the city, the county, everybody getting around the table and seeing what is the best future for this road, the neighborhood, the CB base, all these different things. So we're kind of pulling everybody out of their forts, trying to work together to make sure we plan accordingly for the future. So hopefully that gets approved at 1:30 today at City Council. I won't be there, but Ron's going with folks in uniform, so hopefully that gets a positive review.
Well, you would certainly hope so, because any kind of development is good, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would think.
And this is just, what do we do? How do we do it? How do we do it the best together with the resources? And then we got to find the resources. That's, everybody's your friend until you come ask them for money, right? Especially when you're asking for millions and millions of dollars. So hopefully FEMA will be our friend and help us find some of the money as well.
I would assume they probably would, since they're involved in this. And this is a project that has a very direct impact on what FEMA deals with. So
correct.
I would think they will be all on board, and they'll be rattling some doorknobs for you on your behalf.
Well, and there were over 90 cities that applied for this grant. So to be one of the select cities, we're very proud of that. And we want to put the best of Mississippi and Harrison County forward for that project.
I do want to underline again, in case you missed it, one of 9 cities, not in the state, in America, that got this.
Yes.
So I just wanted to make sure to highlight that.
And the credit goes to Ron Jenkins at the CB base, not me. Because I got the email and I was like, I don't remember writing this. So I went to Pam, who does that in my office, and I said, Pam, did you submit us for this? No. So I texted Ron, hey, do you know about a BRIC something? And he's like, yeah, I'm on vacation. I'll call you when I get back. And I was like, you go, man. Whatever we can do together. And a lot of people don't know it, but we have the CB base, one of only 2 in the United States in Gulfport. We have Keesler and the Hurricane Hunters and all the great things they do. We won't mention that H word again during the show, but
I don't know. We could stand a tropical storm at this point.
Well, we could, but not. Just maybe some rain, not a tropical storm.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that one, Bill.
So, but we're very thankful and grateful for not only the folks that build the ships at Ingalls. They just launched a new one. It's a rival county, but we can talk about it a little bit. But there's a lot of military connection all over the state of Mississippi, but especially on the coast. So we're very proud and supportive. We rehab at Avcrad and Gulfport 8 states helicopters for the National Guard.
Oh, wow.
And those guys have some talent, and ladies. They if there's a part missing, they go back in the shop, make the part, bring it back, and it's really phenomenal. And then we also have the Combat Readiness Training Center at Gulfport at the airport. So Colonel Kirby runs the CRTC, Lieutenant Colonel Radcliffe. I mean, all the folks that out there helping keep us safe. We're very, very thankful and grateful for their service.
And I guess it makes sense. That kind of equipment, you're not just going to run down to the auto parts store and say, I need 2 of these.
Yeah.
They don't just lay around, do they?
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
And we want to have the best out there. If you're hovering around in a helicopter, you want it to be the most current version and the best kept, best maintained that you can have.
Oh yeah, I'm going to make sure they check the oil before I take off.
There's a high risk rate there if things go wrong.
Yeah, that's not a good look. You want to avoid that. We got Bill Lavers with us, the Executive Director of Harrison County Development Commission, and we will continue with him on the Gallo Show right after this. Keep it here. Welcome back. SuperTalk Mississippi, the Gallo Show, live in the Trustmark Bank studios. Dave Hughes here. Bill Lavers with us, Harrison County Development Commission. And you guys, I'm looking at the list here because you sent me a list of, I'm going to guess probably just some of the things you have going on. And it was one of those rare cases I had to hit see all on the text to expand it because it wouldn't fit in a text. You guys are nonstop busy down there.
Well, and I kept it to like under a top 10. So I'm flying around doing a lot of stuff every day, but when I actually have to sit down and write down like just a fraction, I'm like, whoa, we are kind of busy. We're doing and a lot of people just, everybody gives a speech about economic development and workforce, and there's a lot that goes into it from a lot of people. Like I've mentioned, I don't do this by myself. We've got partners. It takes a village, literally.
Yeah, and I would just like to clarify that text, he's using abbreviations. He compacted it as much as possible, still wouldn't fit in a text. So,
well, and I sent you my show notes, but, they're my show notes, so I had to expand on them too. So,
well,
anyway.
Yeah, but still, normally we have, a lot of times somebody will show up and they got one thing.
Yeah.
And that's it, and that's great.
We had one thing. But I wanted to talk about the other thing.
We got other thing. We're getting to that thing.
Yeah,
we'll
one
get
thing
there.
we'll get to.
I don't know if anybody's even heard about that thing.
Oh, yes, they have.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But we have some other things to get to first, don't we?
So let's talk about Ocean Aero, which is a company that Laura Hipp was on, I think, last week talking about that. It's a company that we recruited from California. The great part of that story is they thought they were going to move a lot of people from San Diego to Gulfport, and they didn't. They found great employees. Now, they're paying California wages, so that helps you, with your attraction. But they've been able to do as many holes in a year. They've done 10 holes in a year in Gulfport, and they did 10 holes in 5 years in San Diego.
Oh, wow.
So they've been very, very impressed with the Mississippi workforce and the talent of the engineering, and so that's the world's only submersible UAV, and it's being shipped from Gulfport all over the world. They've got over 50 employees now. They're based on the port of Gulfport. They've got a celebration coming in October, going into their new facility. They've weathered 2 Mississippi summers, which you don't have in San Diego, so that they're not a flight risk anymore. We feel pretty good that they're here to stay. So, and great folks, and hiring great folks from Mississippi, which is the governor. I was in a meeting with him last week, and y'all talk all the time about their jobs looking for people, and that's why I'm here in Jackson with Accelerate Mississippi. But that's what we've got to do a better job. And it's not just a Mississippi thing. It's a national thing.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
And one thing that's kind of come to light recently, one of my employees has 3 children under 7. And that's great. She's, growing her family, doesn't get much sleep at night.
Yeah, I was about saying she's tired.
She's very tired. Yeah. And then there's this thing called year-round school. Well, I need her at work. I need her because she does the work when I do the talking. And what do you do when every 6 or 9 weeks you've got a week off and you don't have grandparents in town? And thankfully her mom comes from Brookhaven and helps her out a lot. But childcare and affordable housing are things that we really need to be talking about on a statewide level, because we do lead, a lot of the country in affordable housing. But if you're making $17 an hour with that thing that we're talking about coming up, and you're single and you got to pay $1,200 rent, and you want to drive a car and you still want to go see Taylor Swift or something, that's a hard road to hoe.
You can take Taylor Swift out of it, and it's still a hard road to hoe.
Yeah. So it's I don't even have a clue how much Taylor Swift tickets are. You probably have to take Taylor Swift out of it.
I'm pretty sure that a mortgage is involved if you're going to try to get Taylor Swift tickets at this point. So, and I would like to go back and just touch on one thing of something you said, because I think we have all known for quite a long time that Mississippi is better than California. But now we have quantifiable data. We are 5 times better than California.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and we now have data to prove that. So, to all of my friends and everybody I know in California, neener. Yeah, I think that's an appropriate way to address that. I think. Now, I got some other stuff before we get to the big one.
Well, we this legislative session, the legislature through the Gulf Coast Restoration Fund, everything has an acronym, GCRF,
yes,
allocated $3.6 million for us to basically start the project on a mega site on I-10, which is not at Minge, but close. But we're
Why
very
would you
excited
mention
about
Minge?
well, it's
Bill.
just a forecast of what might be coming.
Yeah, it's a hint.
So in that, back to Kelly Castleberry. He's going to owe me after this. Maybe not. From County Farm Road to the county line, we're going to just widen the interstate to 3 lanes, which has been needed to have done for a while.
Yes.
And then there's this little thing happening at Min's that everybody wants to talk about, called Buc-ee's.
How many times a day do you get asked about it or have that mentioned to you?
From the media, multiple times a day. From general public, almost everywhere I go, and which is good and bad, because I don't, I'm expecting the negative, oh, my commute's horrible. Like my employee who has the 3 children, her husband works in Diamond Head but lives in Goche, and he has to drive through that every day to and from work. So he's decided he's not necessarily going to Diamond Head every day. He's going to be calling on some customers and figured out some other traffic patterns, which is another good thing about the coast is we have alternate routes. So, the impact of Buc-ee's is going to be, and thankfully I'm not in the middle of it, but it's one direction every day because the bridge is out for 13 months. No big deal. I told one of the supervisors, I said, we're going to have to leave town for about a week, because I thought that's how long it was going to take to fix the bridge.
You can't leave for 13 months.
Yeah. I'm not a federal employee, so we can't work remote in what we do. So
well, I would expect, and I'm going to go ahead and just ask the obvious one that I'm sure you get from everybody, both media and public, but it's the one everybody wants to know the answer to if they're interested at all in Buc-ee's. So when's it opening?
Well, first of all, it's like a wedding. So there's a lot of planning, there's a lot of conversation, but it's not real until the invitations go out, right? So the invitations went out on Friday. So September 13th, we're having a groundbreaking. It's open to the public. I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be 100 people there or 1,000. We'll just figure it out that day.
I'm thinking the second number is closer.
Yeah. And I remember. So we've been working on it for over 3 years because we came to the legislature. We did a special TIF district the day we were up here starting that process 3 years ago. There were 486 comments on Facebook about Buc-ee's, and nobody even knew we were doing it yet, and but most of the energy about it has been positive. Even if you live in the neighborhood, the neighbors are excited because that part of the county needs more shopping, more things. So we're hoping that Buc-ee's is the anchor, and there'll be some more things that come around it. and then we can drag people from Diamond Head back into Harrison County to spend their money, and then they don't have to go to Slidell to shop. So, and there's a void in that part of the county when it comes to retail and services. So, so that and so the numbers. It's going to employ over 250 people.
They pay well.
They pay $17 an hour starting out. They put it at the gas pump right in your face.
Yes.
Here's what we're paying. And I had a customer tell me the other day at lunch that they were in the Alabama store, and Alabama's excited about us getting open because it'll take some pressure off of them because Alabama's so busy. So every time that I've been asked the question you asked me, I've been wrong. So just know that going in. I'm going to say 2 years, but I said we'll have the store open in 18 months when I met them 3 years ago, so that, there's a little indication of what I know.
We won't hold your track record against you.
Thank you.
It's going to open as soon as they're ready to open.
And the good news is we were going to do the bridge, which is because they know what's coming. So that was the major thing, and the county and the Board of Supervisors said, we've got to the bridge really needed to be fixed before this. And then the county stepped up, and so the bridge and the store will be working simultaneously instead of doing the bridge first and then the store. So a lot of excitement. Everybody wants to talk about it. Come down and visit, but there's a lot of other stuff going on in Harrison County that you might overlook if you're just focused on Buc-ee's. So.
Bill Lavers, will you grab a nap at some point? I get tired just listening to this list of stuff you're doing.
I left a lot out, honestly.
I know.
I really did.
That's the scary part. Yeah. Enjoyed it. Yeah, keep us updated, okay?
Yes, sir.
And not just on Buc-ee's, but on everything. And thank you for the socks.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.